Hey guys, it's Kate and Anthony here from Raising Empowered Families, and we have 3 hacks to share with you around how you can cultivate more fun and connection within your family unit, which is so important.
The first one, if you want to bridge the gap between yourself and your children and that generational gap, tell stories. Tell stories about what life was like when you were their age, not what was great, not what was your triumphs only. If you tell them, this is what I did and I got in trouble. This is what we used to do with our mates. Oh my gosh. And this one time, watch their little eyes just sit at your feet and like, wow, regardless of what age. Okay.
You know, it could be teachers not understanding you or your friends at school saying nasty things about you. Like, just knowing the road ahead for your kids. Sometimes I'll share stories, not even knowing if that's where they're at in life right now, but I might share something that will land, that will just open their little spirits that little bit more to share something that's on their mind. And right now, our kids are 10, 12, and 14. And so just thinking about the different feelings and emotions that we were going through at that stage of life. And then also, talking to friends who've got kids a little bit further down the road and already speaking stories about what's happening with them, so that the kids are like, oh my gosh, really? Okay, that's not good. I'll make sure, I call you or whatever. Because, when I think about the parents that I want to be, if my kid's at a party and something's happened, I want them to feel like they can call mum or dad and be like, hey, I really need you guys to come get me, and that we will be there and we won't ask questions. We want to make sure that they're safe and that they're home, and then we'll talk about things later. And just thinking about how do you cultivate that connection and that trust with your children, ideally from a really young age.
Because in their minds, they're thinking they wouldn't understand. But if you've told them a story about the time you messed up at a party and I called mum, or you didn't, and what didn't go right because of that, they're learning through that. You can tell them a million times, if anything ever happens, just call me. Yeah. They're not listening. We learn through stories.
And if we're perfect and we act like we never did anything, which is probably not true, they're going to have a really hard time connecting and relating to you, and you won't be the one that they're picking up the phone to call.
Very good. So number 2, the greatest teacher is exemplification. You can tell your children all day they can do and be anything they want, they set their minds to, while they sit there and watch you settle. And this can hit hard. And so if you pursue your dreams, what's truly most important to you, so many people, so many parents use their kids as an excuse for not pursuing their dreams. You want to teach your children to pursue their dreams because they watched you go after it. They watched the hard work. They watched the sacrifice.
That can be you sharing a goal with them. Like, it might be a physical thing. Like, it might be, I want to run a half marathon, or I want to be able to, lift a personal best, or I want to be able to learn guitar, or I want to get back to singing. And it's something that I'm a little bit shy about, but I used to love singing when I was younger, and that's something that I'm going to do. And then watch mom or dad actually follow through and show up for themselves and commit and be okay to be a learner, and start over. And there's power in that. So when they see you doing that, getting up early, staying up late, and really going for your dreams, they're like, wow. Versus the parents that just do everything for their children, and then sometimes in an unresourceful state can even say, well, I put my things on hold because of you. I'm trying to do this to give you a good life. And that's actually not going to serve anybody. So your kids will be inspired by you feeling great about yourself, doing things that light you up, going on a date with your partner, hanging out with your girlfriend, going and playing golf or football or whatever. Like, those things, whilst they might take us away from our children, it's actually showing them that, it's good to follow your passion.
Yeah, it's a huge problem right now with young men. They are not treating girls nicely because they're entitled, because mum did everything for them, told them you have to respect women, but they watched mum not respect herself. They just were there at the beck and call, everything for their good little boy. So if you don't want to have entitled children, you need to put yourself first and teach them the importance of that.
And it's not always easy. Like I remember, I was just recently going to catch up with a girlfriend for her birthday, and my daughter was like, Mom, I want to hang out with you. That's not fair. I'm like, hon, I love you. I really need to spend some time with my friend right now. You got to hang out with your friend yesterday, and that was really special. I need that for me. And so it's not always the easiest conversations to have, particularly when they're littler, but it's so important because you're just showing them to value those things. The third thing that we know will bridge connection and trust and that beautiful fulfillment inside your family is creating time where you're spending one-on-one with your child. Now, there was a really interesting statistic that was just shared that the average parent spends less than 5 hours of time with their child in a week, face to face, right? You might be running errands and doing all sorts of things, but it's actually rare that people are sitting down and having quality time, let alone it be one-on-one. So we've got 3 kids, and for a lot of people, they say, well, how do you juggle them all, right? Like it's so hard to spread your love and your time across everyone. But kids don't necessarily need a lot of time, but they need quality time. And if your children know that they're going to have special time just with dad or just with mum or just with someone significant in their life, and that's scheduled and they know when it's coming up, oh my gosh, you have such a different level of relationship with them.
And if you're going, but where would I find that time? The average child spends 30% of their waking hours on a screen.
Yeah.
And I challenge you to look at how many hours you spend on your screen. It pops up for you nicely. Don't tell me you can't find 1 hour a week, that you find out what your children love to do, what's most important to them, and dedicate that.
So here's a question. You say, hey, honey, I really want to spend some special time just with you this week. If we could do anything, what's something that you would love to do just with me? And let them tell you, I'd love to go to the park. I'd love to go skateboarding. I'd love to go coloring. I'd love to cook with you. It doesn't have to cost money, but it's about you being, phone is down, phone does not exist, okay? This is about you being with them, and at different ages, kids are going to want different things, and that's okay. But it is such an important conversation, and to know that each child has that time with you is just so, so powerful. It will deepen and strengthen your relationships and the trust inside your family unit and create more fulfillment and connection as well. So guys, that's 3 of our hacks of literally hundreds inside our Raising Empowered Families Academy that is helping so many families really up-level their relationships inside their home, something we're super passionate about, and we hope that it's been helpful for you as well. Thanks, everyone.